What if the heaviness that has been following you for so long just lifted overnight, so quietly that you almost missed it? What if the answer you have been searching for arrived, not with thunder, but with silence, not with drama, but with a gentle, unmistakable shift in the air around you? Today, something profound has changed, and whether you feel it fully yet or not, the universe has issued a decree that cannot be reversed. Congratulations. It is done. You will never go through this again. The cycle of suffering that drained your energy, consumed your hope, and haunted your nights has come to an end, not with fanfare, but with the kind of quiet power that only truth carries. October 19th is not random. It is a cosmic marker, a threshold written into the invisible architecture of time, the moment when your trials officially ceased and your new chapter began. You were watched, tested, and held by forces far beyond ordinary understanding, not to punish you, but to see if you could endure. The silence that felt so heavy was never abandonment. It was presence. It was examination. It was the universe holding its breath, waiting for the moment you would finally awaken to your own strength. And now, that moment has arrived. The tests have ended. The ancient energies have withdrawn. The observers have departed, because their mission with you is complete. The stillness you feel is not emptiness. It is peace. It is sacred ground, reclaimed. If these words are landing for you, there is a clear way to move forward without getting scattered. Prosperity revealed in 3 dimensions. It is a simple and profound path, designed to help you bring order to the noise, return to your center, and act with clarity and purpose. You can explore it in reading as an ebook, or in listening as an audiobook, whatever fits your life right now. Everything is waiting for you in the pinned comment and in the description. Take the time that feels right, and now let us come back to the heart of our exploration. Every trial you endured, every sleepless night, every wound that cut so deep it felt permanent, all of it served a purpose far greater than survival. Each tear was a seed, each failure was a brick, each agonizing choice was the foundation of the victory you are standing on right now. Spiritually, you did not just heal yourself. You healed entire lineages. You dissolved hereditary patterns of pain, broke cycles that held generations captive to suffering, and cleared debts that were never yours to begin with. You were chosen not because you were broken, but because you were strong enough to carry what many would never face. This was never punishment. It was assignment. Your victory repaired not only your present, but also your past and the collective field you belong to. Now the old torments cannot find you anymore. Your frequency has shifted. The debts have expired. The invisible conflicts have evaporated. You no longer need to seek healing because you have become it. October 19th is the portal, the checkpoint, the energetic signature of your destiny fulfilled. The pain no longer belongs to you. You do not need to carry burdens you did not create, nor justify experiences inherited from generations long gone. The weight has been lifted from your soul. The peace has been reclaimed. The world may look the same, but your energy will never be the same again. The strangeness you feel, that odd sense of void or absolute silence, is not a warning. It is confirmation. It is the proof that a cosmic movement has taken place. This is not the calm before the storm. This is the peace you have been praying for, now crowned as your birthright. Many who carried deep pain became addicted to the process of healing, always searching for something else to fix, something else to solve. But today, there is nothing left to repair. There is only something new to build. The cycle of pain has ended. The cycle of creation has begun. You have transcended from survivor to sovereign, from patient to creator, from wounded to whole. This is a narrative of ascension. Where there was once only struggle, there is now space for recognition, for gratitude, and above all, for sovereignty. The universe did not need eclipses or astronomical phenomena to decree this ending. It needed you, aligned, awake, turning the page with your own hands. The date itself carries numerological weight. When you reduce October 19th to its essence, you arrive at completeness, wisdom, and spiritual awakening. Nothing was random. Everything was preparation for this final revelation. You are invited now to celebrate, to step fully into this new cycle, and to refuse to revisit the labyrinths of old suffering. Any trace of pain that lingers is no longer a storm. It is memory. What almost destroyed you has now become fertile ground for building everything you desire. Suffering was a visitor, never your identity. Honor your journey. Dignify what you survived, but do not negotiate your new moment by romanticizing the battles of the past. You are a master now, not a survivor. You are a source, not a recipient. You are initiated, not in recovery. If this perspective is opening something inside you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel so we can continue walking this path together. Your presence here matters more than you know. Do not try to restore old connections. Do not seek out people or stories that belong to another plane of existence. The protection around you now is total. You have exited the cycle of testing. The temptation to revisit suffering is the final trap, and the truest courage is to remain steady in the new, allowing peace to become your home, not just a strange and uncomfortable guest. Every step you take now, every quiet victory, is a demonstration of spiritual authority. You have been crowned by the universe itself. Spiritual justice is also completing itself for everyone who once tried to harm you. Everything returns to its place of origin, because no imbalance can remain in the field of the chosen. You do not need to watch over anyone's fate. You need only to keep your path clear, embrace the new time, and honor the transformation. The past was the price. Now the reward is to live in fullness. What does it mean to live in fullness after a cycle like this? It means learning to trust the silence. It means no longer interpreting peace as suspicious or temporary. It means accepting that you deserve rest, ease, and joy without having to justify them through struggle. For so long, your identity was shaped by endurance. You knew who you were in the fire. But now, the fire has gone out and you are being asked a new question. Who are you in the stillness? Who are you when there is no crisis to solve, no enemy to face, no wound to dress? This is not an easier question. In many ways, it is the hardest one you will ever answer. But it is also the most liberating. The chosen ones are not chosen because they are flawless. They are chosen because they are willing to feel, willing to break, willing to stand back up, willing to carry what others would abandon, willing to transform in the dark, without applause, without recognition, without proof that it would ever be worth it. And now here you are, proof incarnate. The mission is not over, but the initiation is complete. You are no longer training. You are ready. Take a moment right now and place your hand over your heart. Close your eyes if you can. Breathe in slowly through your nose, filling your chest, your belly, your entire body with air. Hold it for a moment at the top, then release it gently, letting the weight of yesterday leave with it. As you exhale, say quietly to yourself, I am done carrying what was never mine. I'm ready to build what is. Repeat this 3 times. Let it land. Let it become true. If this brought clarity to your day, consider leaving a like. It helps others find their way here too. October 19th marks more than an ending. It marks the beginning of your sovereignty. Sovereignty is not control. It is alignment. It is the ability to move through life from your center, not from reaction. It is the art of responding instead of defending, of choosing instead of surviving. You have earned this alignment through fire, and now you are being asked to live it through water, fluid, adaptive, clear, life-giving. The tests will not return in the form they once took because you have graduated beyond that curriculum. New challenges may come, yes, but they will meet a different version of you. A version that knows its worth, that trusts its intuition, that no longer mistakes noise for truth. There is a phenomenon in psychology known as the end of suffering paradox. When people finally emerge from prolonged pain, they sometimes feel disoriented, even guilty. They wonder if they are allowed to feel good. They question whether the peace will last. They scan the horizon for the next disaster, because survival taught them that rest is always temporary. If you recognize yourself in this, know that it is normal, and also know that it is time to retrain your nervous system. Peace is not a fluke. It is not fragile. It is not conditional. You do not have to earn it over and over again. You have already earned it. Now you must practice receiving it. One way to practice receiving peace is to notice the small, ordinary moments of beauty that you used to overlook. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of rain against the window, the taste of your morning coffee, the smile of a stranger. These are not distractions from the spiritual path. They are the path. Presence is not a technique. It is a return to the body, to the senses, to the now. When you live in the now, the past loses its grip and the future loses its threat. All that remains is this breath, this heartbeat, this singular, unrepeatable moment. Turn on notifications if you want to be part of what comes next. This journey is just beginning. It's also important to speak about identity after transformation. You may find that old labels no longer fit. Things you once called yourself, fighter, survivor, wounded healer, may feel too small now or too heavy or simply inaccurate. This is a good sign. It means you are outgrowing the story you used to tell about yourself. But here is the tricky part. If you let go of the old identity without consciously choosing a new one, you may feel lost, unmoored, like you do not know who you are anymore. So take time to ask yourself, who am I now? What do I value? What do I want to create? What brings me alive? These are not questions you answer once. They are questions you live into, slowly, patiently, with curiosity instead of pressure. You might also notice that some relationships no longer resonate. People who were with you in the fire may not know how to be with you in the garden. This does not make them bad, and it does not make you cold. It simply means that some connections were meant for a season, and that season has passed. Release them with gratitude, not bitterness. Honor what was, and trust what is coming. The universe does not take anything away without offering something better in return. Sometimes that better thing is space. Space to breathe, space to dream, space to become. Another sign that the cycle has truly ended is a shift in your relationship with time. When you were in survival mode, time felt urgent, relentless, like you were always running out of it. Now time may feel slower, more spacious, more forgiving. You may find yourself less interested in rushing and more interested in savoring. This is not laziness. This is wisdom. It is the recognition that life is not a race, but a rhythm, and that you are finally learning how to move in sync with your own tempo. Instead of the world's, there is also a deeper layer to October 19th that is worth exploring. In numerology, the number 19 reduces to 1, the number of new beginnings, independence, and self-leadership. The number 1 asks you to step forward, to trust your vision, to stop waiting for permission. October, the 10th month, reduces to 1 as well, doubling the energy of initiation. And if we look at the year 2025, it reduces to 9, the number of completion, humanitarianism, and spiritual maturity. Put it all together, and you have a powerful formula. The completion of an old cycle and the birth of a new one, all centered around your individual sovereignty and your contribution to the collective. This is not just your personal turning point. It is a collective threshold. You are part of a wave of awakening that is moving through the planet right now, and your healing contributes to the healing of the whole. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose life might shift because you cared enough to reach out. What does it mean to contribute to the collective? It does not mean you have to become a teacher, a healer, or a leader unless that is your calling. It simply means living with integrity. It means embodying the peace you have found. It means refusing to pass on the pain that was passed to you. It means choosing kindness when bitterness would be easier. It means showing up as the version of yourself that you once needed someone else to be. This is how cycles break. Not through grand gestures, but through quiet, consistent choices that honor the light within you and within others. Let us talk about forgiveness for a moment, because it is often misunderstood. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean condoning. It does not mean inviting toxic people back into your life. Forgiveness is the act of releasing the emotional charge that keeps you tied to the past. It is the decision to stop letting what happened define what happens next. You can forgive someone and never speak to them again. You can forgive yourself and still learn from your mistakes. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to someone else. It is a gift you give to yourself, and it is one of the most powerful acts of sovereignty you can perform. If you have not yet forgiven yourself for the ways you struggled, for the times you did not know better, for the moments you felt weak or lost or afraid, now is the time. Place your hand on your heart again. Close your eyes and say these words out loud or in your mind. I forgive myself. I did the best I could with what I knew. I'm not my mistakes. I'm not my pain. I'm infinite potential, and I am ready to begin again. Let those words settle into your body. Let them rewrite the old script. Leave a comment below and tell me, what are you ready to release? What are you ready to create? I read every single one, and your words help shape what comes next. Another essential piece of this new chapter is learning to set boundaries without guilt. For so long, you may have said yes when you meant no, given when you had nothing left to give, stayed when you should have walked away. This was not weakness, it was conditioning. But now, you are being called to honor your energy as sacred. Every yes to something that depletes you is a no to something that could fulfill you. Every time you override your intuition to keep the peace, you create inner war. Boundaries are not walls, they are thresholds. They let the right things in and keep the wrong things out. Practice saying no without explanation, without apology, without softening it to make others comfortable. Your energy is yours to steward, and no one else can do that for you. It is also important to recognize that healing is not linear. You may have days when the old feelings return, when doubt creeps back in, when you wonder if the peace was just a mirage. This does not mean you have failed. It means you are human. Integration takes time. The nervous system needs repetition to rewire. The mind needs proof before it fully believes. So when those moments come, do not panic. Do not spiral. Simply pause, breathe, and remind yourself, I have already crossed the threshold. This feeling is an echo, not a reality. And then gently bring yourself back to the present. Back to your breath. Back to your body. Back to the truth that you are safe now and you are free. You might also find yourself grieving, even in the midst of relief. Grief is not only for loss. It is also for change. You are mourning the version of yourself that had to endure so much. You are mourning the time you lost, the innocence you sacrificed, the paths you could not take because you were too busy surviving. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself cry. Let yourself feel the full weight of what you carried, now that you no longer have to carry it. Grief is not a step backward. It is a step through. And on the other side of it, there is a lightness you have not felt in years. Here is a practice you can do tonight, before you sleep. Sit quietly in a space where you will not be disturbed. Light a candle if you have one. Take 3 deep breaths, each one slower than the last. Then in your mind or on paper, name 3 things that are now complete. 3 chapters that have closed. 3 battles you no longer have to fight. Speak them aloud if you can. Say, this is done. I release it, I'm free. Then blow out the candle, or simply close your eyes, and imagine those 3 things dissolving into light, carried away by a gentle wind. This is a ritual of closure, and rituals matter. They tell your subconscious that something has shifted, and they give your soul permission to move forward. If this message resonated, subscribe to this channel. There is so much more to explore together, and your journey matters here. The question now is not what you survived, but what you will create. And creation requires a different kind of energy than survival. Survival is reactive, urgent, defensive. Creation is receptive, intentional, spacious. To move from one to the other, you must slow down. You must listen more than you speak. You must feel more than you think. You must trust more than you control. This is the art of the new cycle, and it is an art you will spend the rest of your life refining. Think of yourself as a garden that has just come through a long, harsh winter. The ground is still cold, the soil is still hard, but beneath the surface something is stirring. Seeds that were planted long ago are beginning to wake up. They do not know yet what they will become, but they know it is time to grow. You are those seeds, and the warmth you feel now, that strange, quiet sense of possibility, that is the first light of spring. Do not rush it. Do not force it. Just let it happen. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust yourself. One of the most common mistakes people make after a major transformation is trying to fill the void too quickly. They leap into new projects, new relationships, new identities before they have fully integrated what just happened. And then they wonder why nothing feels stable, why everything feels rushed, why the old patterns keep showing up in new forms. If you recognize this tendency in yourself, practice the pause. Practice the space between. Practice doing nothing just for a moment and noticing what arises. The void is not empty. It is full of potential. But you have to give it time to reveal itself. There is also a spiritual principle at play here that is worth naming: the law of the vacuum. When you release something, you create a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. It will fill itself, either with what you consciously choose or with whatever is closest. So if you want your new chapter to be different from your old one, you must be intentional about what you allow in. You must curate your environment, your relationships, your habits, your thoughts. You must become the guardian of your own energy field, letting in only what aligns with the life you are building and releasing everything else with love. This might also be a good time to revisit your dreams, not the ones you had last night, but the ones you set aside years ago because life got too hard, because survival took priority, because you stopped believing they were possible. What did you want before the world told you who to be? What lit you up before you learned to dim your light to fit in? What would you create if you knew you could not fail? These are not idle questions. They are invitations. The universe is asking you now, what do you truly want? And it is ready to support you, but only if you are willing to name it, claim it, and take the first small step toward it. Let me share a truth that might sting a little, but it is necessary. No one is coming to save you. Not because you are not worthy of saving, but because you do not need saving anymore. You are the one you have been waiting for. You are the hero of your own story. You are the answer to your own prayers. This does not mean you have to do everything alone. It means you are the one who decides what comes next. You are the one who holds the pen. You are the one who writes the next chapter. And that is not a burden. That is freedom. Another layer to explore is the concept of energetic residue. Even though the cycle has ended, there may still be residue left behind. Old beliefs, old fears, old habits. These are not signs that you are broken. They are simply remnants of a past version of you, and they will fade as you continue to move forward. But you can help them along. Every time an old thought arises, pause and ask, is this still true? Does this still serve me? Do I still want to believe this? And if the answer is no, gently release it and replace it with something new. This is the work of reprogramming, and it is work worth doing. You may also find that your intuition has become sharper. After everything you have been through, your inner compass has been recalibrated. You can sense when something is off. You can feel when someone is not being honest. You can tell the difference between fear and wisdom, between intuition and anxiety. Trust this. Your body knows things your mind has not yet figured out. Your gut has information your brain cannot access. Listen to it, honor it, let it guide you. One of the most beautiful gifts of this new chapter is the return of joy. Not the loud, performative kind of joy that requires an audience, but the quiet, private kind that rises up when you are alone, doing something simple and you realize, I am okay. I'm here, I'm alive. This is enough. That kind of joy is revolutionary because it does not depend on anything outside of you. It is not conditional. It is not transactional. It simply is. And the more you practice noticing it, the more it will grow. There is also a shadow side to freedom that is rarely discussed. When you are no longer defined by your pain, you might feel unmoored, like you have lost your sense of purpose. Pain gave you something to focus on. Healing gave you a mission. But now what? This is where creativity comes in. This is where play comes in. This is where curiosity comes in. You do not need a grand purpose to justify your existence. You are allowed to explore, to experiment, to try things just because they sound interesting. You are allowed to be a beginner again. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to change your mind. This is not aimlessness. This is aliveness. Here is a question to sit with. If you could design your life from scratch, knowing what you know now, what would it look like? What would you keep? What would you release? What would you add? Do not censor yourself. Do not worry about how it will happen. Just let yourself dream. Write it down if you can. Draw it, speak it aloud. Give it form. And then ask yourself, what is one small step I can take today to move in that direction? It does not have to be big. It just has to be real. If this video helped you see something differently, leave a like. It tells me this work matters. Let us also talk about energy management, because it is going to be crucial in this next phase. You are no longer in survival mode, which means you have more energy available. But that does not mean you should spend it recklessly. Think of your energy like a bank account. Every interaction, every commitment, every thought, every emotion is either a deposit or a withdrawal. If you are constantly withdrawing without depositing, you will burn out. So start paying attention. What gives you energy? What drains it? Who lifts you up? Who pulls you down? What activities leave you feeling full? What activities leave you feeling empty? And then make choices accordingly. This is not selfish. This is sustainable. You might also notice that your tolerance for superficiality has decreased. Small talk feels exhausting. Surface-level relationships feel hollow. You are craving depth, meaning substance. This is because you have been to the depths yourself, and you cannot unsee what you saw there. You cannot go back to pretending that shallow things matter. This might make some social situations uncomfortable, and that is okay. You do not have to force yourself to fit into spaces that no longer fit you. Seek out the people and places that match your new frequency. They are out there, and they are looking for you too. There is also something to be said about the power of gratitude in this moment. Not the forced, toxic positivity kind of gratitude that bypasses pain, but the deep, embodied kind that acknowledges both the struggle and the triumph. Take a moment right now and name 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. They do not have to be big. They can be as simple as the fact that you woke up today, that you can breathe, that you have made it this far. Gratitude is not about denying reality. It is about choosing to see the fullness of reality, the light and the dark, the hard and the beautiful, all of it, and saying, yes, I am here for all of it. One of the most liberating realizations you can have in this new chapter is this: you do not owe anyone your story. You do not have to explain where you have been, what you have been through, or why you are different now. You do not have to justify your boundaries, your choices, or your healing. You do not have to perform your transformation for an audience. You are allowed to move quietly, privately, sacredly. Your journey is yours. You get to decide who you share it with and on what terms. And anyone who demands access to your story without earning your trust does not deserve it. Another practice worth integrating is the art of celebration. You have spent so long in survival mode that you may have forgotten how to celebrate. Or maybe you feel guilty celebrating when others are still suffering. But here is the truth. Your joy does not take away from anyone else's pain. Your success does not diminish anyone else's journey. You are allowed to celebrate your wins, big and small, without apology. Go do it, dance in your living room. Treat yourself to something special. Call a friend and brag a little. Mark this moment, honor it. Because it matters. You matter. And your victory is proof that transformation is possible, not just for you, but for everyone who witnesses it. Let us also address the concept of spiritual bypassing, because it is a trap that many people fall into after a breakthrough. Spiritual bypassing is when you use spiritual concepts to avoid dealing with real emotions, real trauma, real issues. It is when you say everything happens for a reason to avoid feeling angry. It is when you say, I am just focusing on high vibes to avoid dealing with your shadow. It is when you say, "I have forgiven everyone," to avoid setting boundaries. True healing is not about transcending your humanity. It is about integrating it. It is about being spiritual and human, awake and flawed, whole and still growing. Do not use your awakening as an excuse to avoid the messy, uncomfortable work of being alive. Here is another practice you can try. Create a morning ritual that grounds you in the new. It does not have to be long or complicated. It can be as simple as 5 minutes of deep breathing, a few lines in a journal, a cup of tea sipped in silence. The point is to start your day with intention, to remind yourself every morning, "I am in a new chapter. I'm safe, I'm free. I'm creating my life consciously." This small act of consistency will begin to reprogram your nervous system, and over time, it will become second nature.